The Lakers get a center, but is it really the center? The Galaxy find a striker who can kind of maybe fill an offensive void, and USC quietly adds to a pretty damn good recruiting class. Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos Morning Report. It's February 6, 2025. When the Lakers made their trade last night, I dropped a detailed breaking news clip on the acquisition of formerly Charlotte's, Mark Williams. We will talk more about that trade in a few moments. If you like being in the know about LA sports, not just the Lakers, but the whole shebang, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And by all means, comment. Now, before we go through the news and notes, a look at the scoreboard. Kings 6, Montreal 3. Kevin Fiala scored twice. Meanwhile, today, Golden State is at the Lakers at 7 o'clock. And this would actually be a pretty hot ticket if only any of the players that the Lakers and Warriors acquired were going to be active. No Luka Doncic, no Mark Williams. For the Warriors, no Jimmy Butler. How goofy is it to say that we're just going to have to settle for LeBron James and Steph Curry? By the way, Indiana is playing the Clippers at 7:30, and let's get to the news. So to repeat, if you go to the Lakers playlist on this channel, there is a breaking news clip from last night about the Lakers trade with Charlotte for center Mark Williams. There are more details there, but the Lakers spent virtually whatever remaining assets that they had to land an athletic 23-year-old center from the Hornets. And we have been talking about what the Lakers had to offer over the last couple of days. It was forecast here. Not that they were going to land Williams, but if they were going to land a center, it would take Dalton Connect, check. A first-round pick, check. And either Rui Hachimura or Cam Reddish. It was Reddish, check. So when you look at it for Mark Williams, who, to be honest, was a 15th selection in a draft, he wasn't exactly lighting the world on fire. It seems like the Lakers overpaid. Particularly when you look back at last weekend and you see how Luka Doncic was, frankly, a bit of a steal. You really have to follow your ACC basketball to know who Williams is, a former Defensive Player of the Year over at Duke. So, I spent a big chunk of the evening breaking down scouting reports, saw a couple of clips, and I want to be honest with you enough, not just to break down this deal further, but I want to be honest with you enough to tell you that I don't really love this deal. I don't. Now, I'll get to why in a moment. Here's what you should know. He fits. He grabs rebounds. He blocks shots. He's effective in the pick and roll. He's extremely effective near the hoop. He is everything Rob Pelinka said that he was looking for in a center. And at 23, you can assume that if this guy applies himself, he's going to get even better. He also only gets paid $6 million a year, which means the Lakers stay under the evil second apron of the salary cap by a little bit more than $3 million. The main problem from an outsider's perspective is that he's almost as injury prone as Anthony Davis. So we have that as a baseline. Here's why I am not in love with the trade. The Lakers, when they are at their best, when they are winning titles, have the best guard in the game and the best center. Because it naturally creates space. Do you guard the guy on the inside, the center, or do you guard the guy on the outside? Think through Laker history. Jerry West and Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem and Magic, Shaq and Kobe. And now we are coming back with Luka and Mark Williams? Really? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to clown the guy. Mark Williams, at a very early phase of his career, serviceable center. Absolutely should be a productive center. The Lakers do not win titles with simply productive centers. They win titles with dominant ones. And I realized that there wasn't exactly a market out there for elite centers. They just don't fall off of trees. The only elite center that was in the trade market was the one that the Lakers sent to Dallas to get Doncic in the first place. The way, though, that this deal seemed to go down is like this. Pelinka, instead of chatting with LeBron James, instead talked with Doncic about what he wants. And Doncic described what it was like in Dallas to have Daniel Gafford, just lobbing passes into the low post for the easy hoops. Oh, how easy. Now, in other words, Doncic knows what it's like to play with a decent center. He has no idea at all what it's like to play with a dominant center. How much easier that would make life for him and for everybody around him. So, to keep Doncic happy, they got him a good center, which means the Lakers are good, but they're not great. That is my problem with this trade. You can sit there and say, yeah, they have a puncher's chance at a title. You would be right. It's a puncher's chance. But does this team put the fear of God into a dominant team like Oklahoma City? Do they put the fear in people like when the Lakers had Shaq and Kobe or Magic and Kareem? Is this team some team to be afraid of? I don't think so. I could be wrong, but I don't think so yet. Meanwhile, the trade deadline is at noon today. I'm skeptical we'll see another surprise. The Lakers still have Hachimura. They have Jared Vanderbilt as tradable contracts, but to be honest with you, I think they stay. And I've been reading volumes on what Doncic brings to the Lakers. The reason I haven't discussed it is because you've already heard damn near everything. So I want to tell you something that you might not know about what Luka Doncic brings to the Lakers. This isn't going to be showtime. LeBron James is actually the fourth slowest player in the league. He only goes at like 3.5 miles an hour. Doncic is only a little bit faster at 3.75 miles an hour. This is not a run and gun team. Secondly, while it is true that James has started to defer on offense, he was doing that with Anthony Davis before the trade. Don't be surprised if the offense now gets based a lot in isolation plays, which means the clock is going to run. Both Doncic and James can create. It stands to reason, because they're slower, that instead of running and gunning, they'll walk the ball up, dribble, 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 shot clock winds down. They either create a shot on their own or they jump one into Williams. It's going to be a lot of isolation basketball, I believe. Meanwhile, the Galaxy have acquired center forward Christian Ramirez from the Columbus Crew yesterday to plug the attacking void that they created less than a week ago. You may recall, the MLS Cup champs, they were up against the salary cap. Their leading goal scorer, Dejan Joveljic, was due for a hell of a raise, like triple his salary level raise. Damn sure more than what your boss gives you. You're lucky if you get cola in this day and age. So the Galaxy sent Joveljic to Kansas City, but solving that created a new ish. How the hell do you replace that many goals? You pass the ball to the middle of the penalty area? Who the hell is there for the Galaxy now, right? I'd go so far as to say the loss of Joveljic actually left a void in my soul. I mean, 2 days ago, I work in Portland, right? 2 days ago, I'm on my way to work. I pass Providence Park, the home of the Portland Timbers. And it reminded me that MLS starts its season in a couple of weeks, and it totally hit me then that the Galaxy didn't have a center forward. I bemoaned such a development in the socials. A couple of people told me, hey, James, don't take it so bad. They have options on the roster. No, they didn't. They did not. Stop it. Miguel Berry is not going to replace Dejan Joveljic. So anyway, yesterday we learned again why so many Galaxy supporters are willing to let General Manager Will Kuntz cook. When it comes to cooking up a team, just slap a chef's hat on that dude's noggin. Ye shall hunger no more with Will Kuntz. He has broken bread for us all. Now, to be clear, Ramirez is not exactly Joveljic either. Ramirez scored 16 goals over the course of 2 seasons in Columbus. Joveljic scored more than that in the last season alone with the Galaxy. Also, Ramirez is 33, so this is not a long-term solution. But matching Joveljic completely is not the point. The threat of competence at center forward is the point. The Galaxy attack is predicated on speedy wingers after they get fed from the midfielder. Gabriel Peck on one side, Josip Painsil on the other. When those two are flying like jets up the side of the pitch, what does that do? Well, the defensive priority is to stop the ball. So the back line cheats to the side. When you cheat to the side, what opens up? You guessed it, the middle of the field, which is how Joveljic feasted last year. Meanwhile, Ramirez comes in. He is very much used to not being the guy, the focal point. He was a secondary option in Columbus. He'll be a secondary option in LA, which means he fits. Much like Mark Williams with the Lakers offense, Ramirez fits with the Galaxy. Now, it's literally going to be Painsil and Peck stampeding up the wing. Do I have a shot? No. Oh, wait, there's Ramirez. That's, again, just how the Galaxy offense worked last year. Now, this move also gives us a little more info as to the type of team that Kuntz wants to build. I incorrectly thought he wanted nothing but youth up front. I still think he does, but again, with Ramirez being 33, it's my guess that Kuntz wanted youth, but losing Joveljic at the last minute basically forced Kuntz to think of who fits properly. So I think Ramirez is probably here for a year, and I think Kuntz is going to spend next offseason looking for the next Dejan Joveljic. You let me know what you think, of course, in the comments thread. USC football continues to low-key add to their high school recruiting. The Trojans added a top 150 recruit in linebacker AJ Tuatele from Las Vegas. Put simply, this guy tackles everything. Opponents, me, your loved ones, everyone. If you're in his way, he's going to tackle you. In his senior season alone in high school, 196 tackles. 196. 39 of them for a loss. Now, you may be asking yourself why a guy who is that productive would be available at this point in the recruiting process. Well, it's because he originally signed with Washington State, but then the entire coaching staff skedaddled to Wake Forest. Tuatele plays a traditional linebacking role, and all of this is good for SC because the Trojans lost 3 linebackers and a position coach since the end of last season. I don't want to get too far over the skis, but when Lincoln Riley was originally hired, I was telling you guys that the moment we're going to know USC football will be officially back is when a linebacker dares to wear 55. It's an iconic number in the program. It's reserved only for elite linebackers. Now, I'm not trying to tell you that Tuatele will get 55. I am saying he has a chance to take it. The Trojans, by the way, have 24 recruits in this class overall, which is currently ranked 15th in the nation by ESPN, 17th in the nation by 24/7 Sports. By the way, the recruiting class of 2026 is currently ranked 4th. And if this new general manager, this new front office, if they have learned how to retain these recruits, you will finally see the progress that we were all expecting after Riley's first season over at Heritage Hall. Also, according to ESPN, UCLA still has a lot of work to do to rebuild its recruiting part of the program. The Bruins were ranked 57th. They didn't even land a recruit in the ESPN top 300. I'm going to give an opinion that could be wrong. They had so many holes to fill that it was like trying to block a fire hose at full blast. It was way too much to prioritize. But if you're a Bruins fan and you're disappointed, I don't blame you. I really don't. The Chargers have filled a vacancy in the coaching staff. Former Florida State defensive coordinator Adam Fuller is coming in to lead the safeties. Fuller spent 5 years in Tallahassee, but the Seminoles fell to pieces last year. They were 2-10. You might have noticed if you read media outlets a lot, the press loves the word historic. So that was the buzzword from the scribes when it was announced that the Rams would play a first ever regular season game out in Australia in 2026. Look, guys, I hate the word historic. War is historic. Elections can be historic. This is a football game on an island full of kangaroos. It is not historic. Drink some decaf. It is not that big of a deal. The Sparks have signed an all-star guard, Odyssey Sims. She's played 11 WNBA seasons with 5 teams, including the Sparks back in 2018. She averaged in her career 11.2 points, 3.8 assists, couple of rebounds, and all while shooting 39.7% from the field. And I don't know how much better that's going to make the Sparks after finishing buck naked last in the WNBA last year. But who am I? It's not exactly like what the Lakers have done. And speaking of what the Lakers have done, you let me know what you think of the comments thread. Am I being a little too harsh on Mark Williams? I'll hear you out. For that matter, are you somewhat more optimistic in the Galaxy's defense of MLS Cup now that they have found themselves a center forward? And if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We're talking LA sports every single day here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Cortel Queso production. Take care.